Hey guys, 3D Print Explorer back with a new video. In today's video, we're going to be unboxing and setting up the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. Let's go. All you have to do, after you open it, simply pull out the cardboard, this bubble wrap, just toss this to the side, rip this tape off, and you can actually lift your printer straight out of the box. Before you toss your box, make sure to take a peek in the bottom here. It comes with some filament spools and some other really cool items. Take the plastic off. Go like that, and then we'll just pull it out from underneath. All right, so we're gonna put our printer up in the location where we plan on keeping it. At this particular point, you want to start peeling off all of this extra plastic here. I'm going to give you this little quick start guide on the top here, and then we'll take your cover off. Inside of the top here, there's all sorts of foam, and this is where the AMS unit is shipped. There's also a toolkit in here, so we're going to remove this foam. It helps to almost slide the foam to the side and around to get it out, because it is stuck in there pretty good. And then there is this parts kit they give you. We'll put that to the side. And now to be able to remove the AMS unit, there are some screws inside of the printer that we need to remove first. All right, so let's see what we have in the box here. All sorts of cool stuff in here. Now, most importantly, we have our display screen. There are some tools in here, you'll see. Looks like some Bambu Lab grease. Looks like it comes with a spare 0.4 hot end, power cord. All right, here's your cables for your AMS. This is your spool holder. If you don't have an AMS, you'll have to mount this to the back of the printer. Now, to be able to remove the AMS from the inside, you'll open up the front door and you'll see these two screws here with the two red arrows next to them. You'll need a 2mm. Now I'm gonna let my helper take these screws out. There's some other foam pieces that you'll actually have access to now that the AMS is loose, and those two screws on the bottom allow us to lift the AMS unit right out of the printer. Pull this out, we'll put this to the side for now. All right, now this foam on the top here, you're able to remove after the AMS is out. And you should be able to slide this over a little bit and then take this cardboard right off. Now the little discard chute here, they also call it the poop chute. Anywhere that you see this green tape, you also need to remove this. All right, inside this discant pack you can remove, and then you'll notice inside all of these red arrows, all of those are screws that are installed during shipping that you need to remove. So it's the same 2mm Allen. Until this build plate is actually raised up, you will not be able to get this foam out of the bottom, so you don't need to worry about that now. Now you can remove the tray that the AMS was mounted to. Now there's 3 remaining screws. There's one on either side here where the Z-axis screw is, and then there's one next to the rear Z-axis screw. And these are all 2mm. And this one's a little tricky to get to. Now you should be able to also remove this piece of foam. This foam in the back here, actually you cannot take that out until the build plate raises. We can peel this, notice, off the build plate. Now on the front of the printer, you'll notice this piece of tape here. You want to carefully peel that off. So the display came in this little bag. I'm just going to pull it out of the bag. And you want to make sure that the micro SD slot goes to the right side when you're mounting this. Now this cable simply clips in to this connector right here, and then we'll slide these little feet into the slots and then snap it to the left side. You'll see the connector snapped in place here, and then all we do is we put these little feet into the slot and we slide it to the left. All right, now we're gonna mount the spool holder, and you're gonna have to remove the pre-existing screw, 2mm, and they give you 2 new screws to use. Just get it snug. Now we're gonna hook up our cable since the printer is already spun around. I don't have the AMS on top yet, but we'll do that after we do this step. So there's 2 cables, and they are different. You'll see one is a 4-pin, one is a 6-pin. The 4-pin connector right below where you just mounted the spool holder, and that just clicks in there. And then this part here goes with the tab actually backwards onto the connector on this side. Now, on the very far left side here is where the 6-pin goes for the AMS. Before we put the AMS on, we have to remove our top glass from the packaging. The knob on here actually goes towards the front of the printer. So we're gonna put our AMS on top now. We're gonna remove the tape here where the Bowden tube is. And then we're gonna take our 6-pin connector. We're gonna connect that into the left connector when viewing the back of the AMS. Now the Bowden tube from the AMS goes into the left side here. And you wanna make sure you push this in as far as it goes. While we have the printer still turned around here, we're gonna put our power cable in and we'll leave the switch on off for now. Now that we have the AMS mounted, we just have to peel off all the plastic. And then open up the cover on your AMS and taped in here, they actually have replacement Bowden tubes. So it has the long tube for the AMS down to the back of the printer, and it has a bunch of the individual replacement tubes that come from the feeders. And one thing you don't want to forget to do, behind these little stickers here are the desiccant packs, and they're actually behind these vents. They're still in the plastic. So what you want to do is you want to remove them from the plastic. We'll just lay that back down inside. We'll snap the vent back in place. We'll do that on both sides here. We'll get our printer plugged in. All right, and then we're gonna load the filament into AMS slot 1, which is the very far left slot. If you've never used the AMS before, you actually have to press back on this little piece here, and that'll allow you to slip the filament down. And you don't have to feed it all the way in, just a little bit. Now for the moment of truth, we're gonna power her up. All right, we're gonna pick our language. We're gonna select our region, and then we're gonna connect to our Wi-Fi, because this is a Wi-Fi printer. We'll hit next now that we're connected. And then we need to scan the QR code that's on the printer. We're gonna download the app, the Bambu Handy app. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bind the printer. Now at this point, if you already have a Bambu account, then you're good to go. You just do your sign-in information. If not, you have to create an account. All right, and then we'll sign in with the account that we just created. And then we're gonna confirm to bind the printer to this account. User login successful. We'll hit next. We'll agree to the terms and conditions. So this right here, you can either skip this or join, and this is gonna send any troubleshooting information to Bambu Labs if there are issues with the printer. So we'll hit join. Now we're gonna do calibration next. So please be ensured the heat bed is unlocked before starting calibration. And all that means is that you did take out all of the shipping screws that were on the inside. You can leave the foam in place for now. We don't have to worry about that. And we're gonna hit next. And it does give you a progress indicator on the screen as it's doing the calibration, so you know how long or how far along it is. So we'll hit calibrate. Now while it's calibrating, you can actually remove the foam on the bottom, or you can wait till it's done too, but it's a good time to take that out of there. All right, calibration is now complete. We can hit next. We can hit start printing. So we'll just pick the benchy that it has stored internally in here, and we'll print that to test this out. Right now you may get an update firmware prompt. So it looks like we have a firmware update for the actual printer and the AMS. So we'll click update. All right, now at this point, we're done calibrating. We're done with our firmware update. We want to start our first print. So we're gonna click on the folder here, and stored in the memory of the printer are a bunch of these different files here. So we're actually just gonna print this benchy here. It says about 25 minutes. We're gonna use PLA. Before we print this, we wanna pull our build plate out. We wanna give this a clean with some isopropyl alcohol. Hit print now. And our very first benchy is complete. All right, so that wraps it up for this video. The X1 Carbon unfortunately has been discontinued by Bambu Lab, so you cannot purchase it on their website any longer, but other sites such as Matter Hackers and possibly even Micro Center do sell these printers. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you love this type of content, and stay tuned for the next video. See you then.